So we continue here with the Israeli women's peace movement, and we look at a group of ladies called Women in Black. I'm relying on, for this account, on the book written by Gila Swirsky that you can find on internet entirely. This is the address at the bottom of this of this slide, and the book is called "Standing for Peace: A History of Women in Black in Israel." Women in Black was established in 1988. That is 1 year, but actually I should say a few months inside the first Intifada, the first Palestinian Intifada, and it was inspired by the mothers of Plaza de Mayo in Argentina. The idea was to use public places and to emerge out of their houses to bring the protest and their opposition to the violence of the occupation and the repression that the military and the government was imposing to the Palestinians. What was particularly striking of the women in black was their minimalism, in a way, their minimalism that was expressed through a silent presence. First of all, these are some of the women in black in Haifa, for example. They were, as you can see, they're all dressed in black, suggesting the idea of mourning and of grief, and suggesting a dignity in the protest that they waged. Women in black met once a week on Friday, I believe at 1 or 2 o'clock, gathered in a square, there is in a public space, and basically stood there holding these signs that you can see here that said stop the occupation, in various languages, in Hebrew, in Arabic, in English, and sometimes in other languages. And this and behind these large notes, these boards, stood various opinions and various backgrounds, women from various backgrounds and ages. Some were Zionist, most of them were not Zionist, some were religious, some were secular. There were also some Palestinian Israelis who joined these protests. This is another picture. As you can see, there were really very big signs, sometimes even covering the faces of their holders. And if we read a flyer together, we can really reconstruct somehow the identity of this movement. And the flyer said, "We, the women in black, citizens of the State of Israel, have been holding a weekly protest vigil since the beginning of the Intifada. The protest vigil is an expression of Israeli society and expresses our need to actively and strongly oppose the occupation. We are women of different political convictions, but the call 'Stop the Occupation' unites us. We all demand that our government take immediate action to begin negotiations for a peace settlement. Many of us are of the opinion that the PLO is the partner for peace negotiations based on the principle of 2 states for 2 peoples, while others are of the opinion that it is not for us to decide who the Palestinian partner for negotiations is, nor the exact solution on which peace should be based. We are unified in our belief that our message is powerful and just, and it will eventually bring peace. We call on all women to join us in our staunch, persistent, and non-violent protest." I've taken this quote from the article by Hellman and Rappaport that you can see quoted here. So where's the connection here between women's issues and peace building? If you follow me to the next slide, we can find some clues. Well, first of all, at the heyday of the movement, which was between 88 and 91, there were at least 5,000 women showing up to the vigils on a regular basis and participating to the protest. Remember that this was a non-hierarchical organizations where different opinions were represented. The link here between women issues and peace building or connection with Palestinians is that to oppose the occupation meant to have a less militaristic society, and therefore a society where women would be more acknowledged, or to put it in other words, women didn't want to live, these and other women didn't want to live in a society where the violence of the occupation was brought home, if you want, by the brothers, the husbands, the sons, that had participated in the occupation. In other words, having an occupation going on not far from home had important consequences for women on both sides, those who suffered directly from the occupation, which is the Palestinian women, but also Israeli women not suffering from the consequences of living in a highly militarized society. So for this reason, women, the women in black, also started to have to put forward and ask and demand issues that would belong to a very specific feminist agenda for other organizations, like hotlines for battered women, or shelters for battered women, women's health hotline, centers for raped women, and so on. So as the group grows in numbers and in presence and in activity, the group also became more feminist in a way. So women in black, in a way, changed the way women became activists and activated themselves in Israel. Women in black, if we at least quote from Gila Swirsky, changed the way women were perceived. Indeed, by donning this black, dignified and sad uniform of wearing black clothes. And they did so coming out of their houses, and not by chance. Women in black were attacked quite strongly by men on the street, who would always accuse them of being partners, sexual partners, clearly, to Arabs. That meaning being traitors of the national body politic, of course. This was the events, the vigils where women in black participated, allowed women to become autonomous political agents and to find and reshape and reformulate a new place in the in society and in the socio-political order where they lived, challenging the logic of national security that ruled the social relations of the environment in which they acted. And for many of them, this was a very empowering situation. And I'm going to read you one testimony, as we've done for many other cases of activists in this course. She said, "I can't refuse to serve in the occupied territories since I'm not going to be drafted. They don't want me in the army. So I'm left with standing with women in black. I feel proud there. I think that one of the reasons I feel this way is that in Israeli society, women are second-class citizens. In Israeli society, I feel like the men are on top and I'm on the bottom. But when I stand on the wall in the square, I feel like I'm on top and they're on the bottom." So it's really this reversal of the situation that worked for the movement of women in black. The vigils of women in black expanded to many other countries, to Italy, for example, to the Netherlands, to Australia, to the UK, where sometimes mixed group of women participated to protest. being Jewish and Palestinian women from the diaspora protesting the Israeli occupation. So I encourage you to learn more about this movement, which is really fascinating, and you can find a lot on the website www.gilasvirsky.com. And you will find many other testimonies. We'll find this lady again. Also on YouTube, you can see many videos, or several videos, one of which is Gila Svirsky lecturing about the occupation, but you can also see the attack of men trying to interrupt her and hindering her activity and protest. Thank you.